Love, a precious gift, but also a challenging journey. Have you ever felt lost in your relationships? Or wondered how to build a lasting and happy love? Have you ever wondered why some women seem to effortlessly captivate a man's heart long after the relationship ends, leaving him questioning his choices? It's not always about dramatic gestures or fiery confrontations. Sometimes, it's the quiet, powerful changes, those subtle shifts in energy, attitude, and self-worth that make the deepest impact. These changes are like a silent revolution, transforming the way you see yourself and, in turn, the way he sees you. Let's explore the 6 subtle but mighty transformations that not only make him pause but also make you the strongest, most magnetic version of yourself. Welcome to the channel, Sophia's Knowledge, and my name is Sophia. This is where we share lessons about love, practical experiences, and secrets to building strong relationships. In today's video, Sophia will reveal to you 6 silent but powerful changes that make men think again. If you are looking for a deeper understanding of love and how to develop relationships, don't miss this video. Before watching the video, find a quiet space and put on your headphones so you can feel every word I share. Relax and enjoy this journey with me. Are you ready to embark on this journey? Let's go. Way 1. Becoming more independent. Imagine a woman who once revolved her entire world around her relationship, constantly checking her phone for messages, feeling incomplete without validation from a man, and waiting for him to make decisions about where to go, what to do, and how to live. Now, imagine that same woman slowly stepping into a new version of herself, one where she no longer seeks approval from him, or anyone else, to feel whole. This is the essence of becoming more independent, and it's one of the most powerful, silent changes that can make a man pause, reflect, and even regret taking you for granted. Independence is more than just being able to pay your own bills or have your own place. It's a mindset, an energy, and a lifestyle. When you become more independent, you shift the dynamic of any relationship you're in. Suddenly, you are not a passenger waiting for him to decide the course of the journey. You're the driver of your own life, and that makes you magnetic in a way that's hard to ignore. One of the first steps toward true independence is emotional detachment, not in the sense that you don't care about him, but that your emotions no longer depend on his behavior. When he texts, you don't jump to respond immediately. When he's distant, you don't spiral into panic or desperation. Instead, you acknowledge your feelings, process them, and remind yourself that your worth doesn't hinge on his attention or approval. This newfound emotional independence can be unsettling for a man who is used to being the center of your universe. He might start to wonder why you're not chasing him like you once did. He might find himself checking his phone, wondering if you're thinking of him, missing him, or moving on without him. This silent question mark you create by focusing on yourself is often enough to make him reflect on how he's treated you, and whether he's at risk of losing you altogether. Beyond emotional independence, there's practical independence. It's about creating a life you're proud of, regardless of his involvement. Maybe it means investing in your career, starting a passion project, or finally taking that solo trip you've always dreamed of. These actions send a clear message. You are living your life for yourself, not waiting around for his plans to include you. A man who sees you chasing your goals with confidence and passion can't help but admire you, even if he's too proud to say it out loud. Financial independence is another key piece of this puzzle. When you're able to take care of yourself financially, paying your own rent, affording the things that make you happy, and investing in your future, it changes the dynamic of power in a relationship. You are no longer in a position where you rely on him for security or survival, which can transform how he perceives you. You become an equal, not a dependent. And in that equality, there's a subtle but powerful shift in the way he treats you. Another often overlooked aspect of independence is social independence. It's about having a life outside of him, a circle of friends, family, and a community that supports you. When you have plans, when you're busy, and when you're not constantly available, it makes him value the time he gets with you more. It also shows him that you're not afraid to stand on your own 2 feet, and that you have a fulfilling life whether he's there or not. But perhaps the most profound change comes from the inner confidence that grows with independence. When you're no longer looking for someone else to complete you, you exude a calm self-assurance that's impossible to fake. This kind of confidence makes you glow from the inside out. It's in the way you walk, the way you talk, and the way you carry yourself. It's the knowledge that you are enough, just as you are. A man might not always articulate it, but he feels it. He senses that you've become more than just his partner, you've become a woman he has to work to earn. And that's where the shift happens. When you're independent, you stop trying to hold on to him so tightly, and instead, he finds himself holding on to you. He starts to remember why he was drawn to you in the first place, your strength, your resilience, your unique spirit. In the end, becoming more independent is not about playing games or making him jealous. It's about reclaiming your power, building your own happiness, and living life on your terms. Ironically, it's often this shift that makes a man think twice about how he's treated you and whether he's willing to risk losing a woman who no longer needs him, but who might still choose him, if he's lucky. So let him think. Let him wonder. Let your independence speak volumes in the quiet spaces where words can't reach. Because the most powerful statement you can make is living a life that fulfills you, with or without him. And that, in itself, is the ultimate transformation that can make a man pause, reflect, and maybe even change his ways. What do you think of this lesson? Have you applied something similar in your life? Please share your thoughts or stories in the comments. I will read and respond quickly. Thank you for your attention. Let's continue together. Way 2. Caring for yourself and your appearance naturally. There's a subtle yet profound transformation that happens when a woman starts caring for herself and her appearance, not to impress others, but because she genuinely values herself. This is the kind of change that men notice, often without even realizing why they're drawn in. It's not about being flashy or chasing attention. It's about embodying a natural confidence and glow that makes people, especially men, take a second look and wonder what's different. Imagine the woman who once neglected herself, maybe always too busy, too tired, or too focused on making everyone else happy. Her hair often pulled into a messy bun, her clothes chosen more for comfort than style, and her skincare routine, if any, was an afterthought. She was so consumed by everything else, his needs, work demands, family obligations, that she forgot to prioritize herself. But then, something shifted. One day, she decided to start making small changes, not because she wanted validation, but because she wanted to feel good in her own skin. She began waking up a bit earlier to spend time on her skincare routine, cleansing, moisturizing, maybe even applying a little sunscreen. She started drinking more water, eating more balanced meals, and prioritizing sleep. These small but meaningful steps began to add up, and soon her skin had a healthy glow, her eyes looked brighter, and her energy felt different. It wasn't about vanity, it was about respect. She began to respect her body as the vessel that carries her through life, and that respect radiated outwards in ways she hadn't expected. She started taking a little more time with her hair, not necessarily spending hours in front of the mirror, but making sure it was clean, healthy, and styled in a way that made her feel confident. She chose outfits that reflected her personality, not just what was easiest to throw on. She started to carry herself with a quiet self-assurance that was impossible to ignore. Men notice these changes, often before they consciously realize it. There's something undeniably magnetic about a woman who looks put together but not forced, polished but not trying too hard. She's the woman who looks like she just naturally glows, like she's taken the time to nurture herself from the inside out. And that natural glow is what makes men do a double take. It's not just the physical transformation, though. When you care for yourself in a natural, authentic way, it affects your energy, your mood, and your confidence. You walk into a room with your head held a little higher. You smile more because you feel more comfortable in your own skin. And that self-love is contagious. People, including men, can't help but be drawn to it. One of the most powerful aspects of this transformation is that it's sustainable. When you're taking care of yourself because you want to, not because you're trying to win someone over, it becomes a way of life rather than a temporary performance. You don't need anyone's approval to feel good about yourself, and that's exactly what makes it so compelling to others. Imagine a man who once took you for granted, thinking you'd always be there no matter what. Now, he sees you looking more radiant than ever, not because of some expensive makeover, but because you've started honoring yourself. You have a quiet confidence that comes from within, and it makes him wonder, what changed? Why is she glowing? Is she happier without me? These questions can stir something in him that no words ever could. He might start to realize that you're not the same woman he thought he had figured out. He might feel a pang of regret that he didn't appreciate you more when he had the chance. And even if he doesn't admit it out loud, the realization that you're taking care of yourself in ways he never inspired you to can make him rethink his own choices. This is the beauty of caring for yourself naturally. It's not about revenge or proving a point. It's about stepping into your own power and showing, through your actions, that you value yourself. And when a man sees that, he often can't help but feel both admiration and a sense of loss if he was the one who failed to appreciate that value. The natural part is crucial. There's a difference between authentic self-care and trying to force a transformation to get attention. When it's natural, it flows from a place of genuine self-love. You're not trying to keep up with anyone else's expectations or compete with other women. You're simply honoring the body and spirit you've been given, and that authenticity is what shines through. In the end, caring for yourself and your appearance naturally is about much more than physical beauty. It's about setting a standard for how you want to be treated by others. It's about showing up for yourself every single day, even in the smallest ways, because you know you're worth it. And that's a message no man can ignore. It's a message that says, I am here for myself first. If you want to be part of my life, you'll have to meet me where I am, at my best. So take that time to nourish yourself. Let your skincare be a ritual of self-love. Let your wardrobe reflect who you are, not just who you think others want you to be. And let your natural glow be the reminder to every man that you are not someone to be taken lightly. Because when you care for yourself in a natural, authentic way, you become a force of nature, a woman who is effortlessly unforgettable. If you are still watching the video, do not hesitate to comment continue. Leave your thoughts and questions below in the comment section. I look forward to hearing your opinions, and do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel so that Sophia has more motivation to create more good and meaningful videos. Let's continue together. Way 3. Gaining better control over your emotions. Imagine a woman who once reacted to every small shift in a relationship with immediate panic or anger, a woman who found herself on an emotional roller coaster every time he didn't call, text back fast enough, or canceled plans. Her emotions were like a storm, always at the mercy of someone else's actions. Now, imagine that same woman, months later, standing tall, radiating calm, responding instead of reacting, and navigating her world with grace. That's the essence of gaining better control over your emotions, and it's one of the most powerful silent changes that make a man look at you differently. Emotional control doesn't mean becoming cold or heartless. It means learning how to acknowledge your feelings without letting them dictate your every move. It's about shifting from being a passenger on the ride of your emotions to being the driver, someone who understands that while feelings are valid, they don't have to define your choices. The journey toward emotional control often begins with awareness. You notice the patterns, how you feel anxious when he takes too long to reply, how you feel frustrated when he cancels a date, how you feel worthless when he seems distant. Instead of reacting impulsively, sending an angry text, sulking, or withdrawing, you take a moment to breathe. You ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Is it truly about him, or is it about something deeper inside me? That pause is powerful. It creates space between the feeling and the reaction. It allows you to choose your response with intention rather than letting your emotions run the show. And in that space, you find your strength. When a man is used to seeing you get upset over small things, seeing you handle situations with calm composure is a shock to his system. It's like he's met a new version of you, one who's not easily rattled, one who values her peace over drama. This shift can make him pause and reflect. Why isn't she reacting the way she used to? Does she care less now? Has she outgrown me? The questions begin to swirl in his mind, and suddenly, he's the one feeling off balance. Better emotional control also means you set boundaries more effectively. Instead of reacting in anger or desperation, you communicate your needs and expectations with clarity and confidence. For example, instead of accusing him of being distant, you might say, "I've noticed we haven't spent much quality time together lately. That's important to me, and I'd love to find a way to reconnect." This approach is calm, honest, and non-confrontational, which invites dialogue instead of defensiveness. Men notice this shift too. They realize you're no longer the woman who cries or yells to get attention. You're the woman who respects herself enough to speak her truth without drama. That's not just attractive, it's magnetic. It shows him that your happiness is in your hands, not his. And that's a game changer in any relationship dynamic. Another aspect of emotional control is learning to self-soothe. When feelings of anxiety, insecurity, or anger arise, you've developed healthy coping mechanisms to process them. Maybe it's journaling, talking to a trusted friend, going for a run, or meditating. You don't expect him to fix your feelings or make them go away. You've taken responsibility for your emotional well-being, and that independence is powerful. This doesn't mean you never share your feelings. It means you choose to share them thoughtfully, after you've processed them. You don't unload your raw, unfiltered emotions on him in the heat of the moment. Instead, you share with the intention to connect, not to blame. You say, "I felt a bit hurt when our plans changed, but I understand things come up. Can we reschedule?" That's emotional maturity in action, and men notice. When you gain better control over your emotions, you become a woman who is steady, reliable, and safe to be around. You no longer oscillate between highs and lows. You create an emotional environment that invites trust, respect, and deeper intimacy. A man doesn't have to walk on eggshells around you, fearing that one wrong move will cause an emotional explosion. He can relax, knowing that you're a partner who can handle life's ups and downs with grace. Ironically, it's this strength that often draws a man closer. When he sees that you're no longer dependent on him for your emotional stability, he feels both admiration and curiosity. He starts to realize that you're the kind of woman he can lean on too. That balance, being emotionally independent yet open to connection, creates a dynamic that's irresistible. In the end, gaining better control over your emotions isn't just about him, it's about you. It's about reclaiming your peace, your power, and your sense of self-worth. It's about choosing how you want to show up in the world, regardless of how anyone else acts. And that choice changes everything. So let him wonder why you're different now. Let him think about the times you would have reacted, and notice that you no longer do. Let your calm strength speak louder than any words. Because when you master your emotions, you become a woman who cannot be controlled, manipulated, or diminished. You become a woman who commands respect, simply by being exactly who she is. Way 4. Being busy with your own passions and goals. Imagine a woman who once organized her entire life around the man she loved. She cleared her schedule for his calls, rearranged plans to be available for his whims, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, lost touch with the dreams and goals that once set her soul on fire. But one day, she decided to reclaim her time, her energy, and her identity. She started investing in her own passions and goals, not because she wanted to make him jealous, but because she realized that her life was about so much more than waiting for his next move. There's an undeniable power in being a woman who's too busy building her own life to chase after someone else. It's not about ignoring love or closing your heart. It's about realizing that love should complement your life, not consume it. When you're engaged in your own passions, whether it's a career, a creative pursuit, a fitness goal, or a lifelong dream, you become a magnet for respect, admiration, and genuine attraction. Men notice a woman who's living for herself, because her energy is different, it's radiant, authentic, and unforced. Being busy with your own passions shifts the dynamic in any relationship. Suddenly, he's no longer the center of your universe. You have plans, commitments, and a sense of purpose that goes beyond any single person. You're not waiting by the phone for his texts, you're busy creating, building, and pursuing. This shift is subtle but profound. It sends the message that while you care about him, you also care deeply about yourself, and that's a game changer. Imagine you've always dreamed of learning to paint. Maybe you put it off for years, waiting for the right time, or because you felt guilty spending time on yourself. Now, you sign up for that class. You spend hours lost in colors and brushes, discovering a new part of yourself. Or maybe it's a business idea you've been sitting on for years. Instead of waiting for someone else's approval, you start taking small steps, researching, planning, investing time and effort. You're building something that's yours, and that's empowering in ways that nothing else can replicate. When a man sees you busy with your own life, it challenges him in the best possible way. He realizes he's dating a woman who's not just looking to fill her time with him, but who's dedicated to her own growth and fulfillment. It makes him appreciate your time and attention more, because he knows it's valuable. You're not the woman who drops everything for him at a moment's notice. You're the woman who makes time for him, but only because you've chosen to, not because you have nothing better to do. This doesn't mean you're too busy for love. It means you understand that a healthy relationship thrives when both people have their own lives. When you're busy with your passions and goals, you bring fresh energy, new stories, and a sense of excitement into the relationship. You become a woman with layers, someone he can learn from, admire, and respect. You're not just his partner, you're a whole person. Being busy with your own goals also makes you more resilient. When disappointments happen, like when he cancels plans or pulls away, you're less likely to spiral into insecurity or self-doubt. Why? Because you have a life that's fulfilling, with or without him. Your identity is not tied to his attention or validation. This independence is not just attractive, it's magnetic. It shows him that you're in the relationship by choice, not by necessity. Sometimes, when a man sees you thriving in your own world, it triggers something inside him. He might start to wonder why you're so happy, so focused, so alive, without his constant involvement. It might even make him realize that he's at risk of losing you if he doesn't match your energy and effort. That's not about playing games, it's about living authentically and letting your actions speak louder than any words. The best part about being busy with your own passions and goals is that it's not about him, it's about you. It's about honoring the dreams you've tucked away, the talents you've ignored, and the ambitions you've sidelined for too long. It's about waking up each day with a sense of purpose and going to bed knowing that you've invested in your own happiness and growth. And when you do that, you become a woman who's hard to forget. In the end, being busy with your own passions and goals is one of the most empowering changes you can make in your life and your relationships. It's a quiet but powerful reminder that you are not defined by any one person's attention or affection. You are defined by the fire inside you, the dreams you chase, and the person you become along the way. And that, more than anything else, is what makes a man stop and think, she's different now. Because a woman who's living for herself is a woman who can't be contained, and that's the kind of woman who leaves an unforgettable mark on his heart. Way 5. Maintaining distance and not needing him to define your worth. Imagine a woman who once felt that her value depended on a man's attention. She waited for his calls, craved his approval, and needed his validation to feel good about herself. Every time he texted, it felt like a lifeline. Every time he pulled away, she questioned her worth. But over time, something inside her shifted. She realized that her value was not defined by his moods or actions. She learned the art of maintaining a healthy distance, one that allowed her to love without losing herself. That change became her strength, and it made him see her in a whole new light. Maintaining distance isn't about playing games or trying to make him chase you. It's about recognizing that you are a complete person, with or without his presence. It's about understanding that your worth is inherent, not something that fluctuates based on whether he texts you back or showers you with attention. When you master this art, you become a woman who is powerful, self-assured, and impossible to overlook. One of the first steps to maintaining distance is learning to be comfortable in your own company. Instead of waiting for him to fill your evenings, you start making plans for yourself, dinners with friends, solo movie nights, weekend getaways. You invest in your hobbies, your passions, your goals. You fill your time with things that make you happy and fulfilled. This sends a clear message: you are not sitting by the phone, waiting for his affection to complete you. Men notice this kind of independence immediately. When you no longer revolve your schedule around him, he starts to realize that your world is bigger than just him. It challenges him to step up his game, to earn a place in your life rather than just expecting it by default. It also forces him to confront the idea that he is not the center of your universe, and that realization can make him appreciate you more. Another key part of maintaining distance is not oversharing every thought and feeling. Of course, communication is important in any relationship, but constant updates, emotional outpourings, or seeking his opinion on every decision can make you seem dependent. Instead, you learn to process your emotions on your own first. You talk to your friends, you journal, you reflect. When you do share, it comes from a place of strength, not desperation. This self-reliance is deeply attractive, because it shows him that while you care about his perspective, you don't need it to define your decisions. It's also about not needing his constant validation to feel secure in yourself. When he compliments you, it's nice, but it's not the foundation of your confidence. When he's distant, you don't immediately assume it's your fault or that you need to fix it. You understand that his behavior is a reflection of him, not of you. This emotional maturity allows you to maintain your sense of self-worth, even when the relationship hits a rough patch. Sometimes, maintaining distance means pulling back when his actions don't align with his words. If he says he cares but doesn't show up for you, you don't chase him. You don't beg for his time or attention. Instead, you step back and let him feel the weight of his choices. You let him miss you. And in that space, he might realize what he's lost. He might come to understand that your presence in his life is a privilege, not a given. When a man sees that you can walk away, that you have the strength to choose yourself, it creates a powerful dynamic shift. It shows him that you're not afraid to lose him if it means staying true to yourself. That's not just attractive, it's transformative. It forces him to reflect on how he's treating you and whether he's willing to rise to the level you deserve. Maintaining distance also means you stop measuring your worth by his moods or attention. You know that you are enough, just as you are. Whether he's affectionate or aloof, you remain steady in your self-respect. You understand that a relationship is meant to add to your life, not become your whole life. This shift in perspective frees you from the emotional roller coaster of waiting for his validation. In the end, maintaining distance and not needing him to define your worth is about choosing yourself every single day. It's about building a life that's so full, so vibrant, and so authentic that his presence becomes a bonus, not a necessity. It's about becoming a woman who is secure in who she is, who knows what she deserves, and who refuses to settle for anything less. This kind of woman is unforgettable. She's the one who doesn't chase love but attracts it effortlessly. She's the one who, when she loves, does so from a place of strength, not need. And that, more than anything, is what makes a man stop and think, she's different now. Because a woman who doesn't need a man to define her worth is a woman who inspires him to become better himself, and that is the most powerful silent change of all. Way 6. Confidence and radiant positive energy. There is a magnetic force in a woman who walks into a room and brings an undeniable sense of brightness with her. It's not just the way she looks, it's the way she carries herself, the way her energy radiates from within. She exudes a calm assurance, a genuine happiness that is impossible to fake. She is the woman whose confidence and positive energy light up every space she enters. And that shift in her doesn't just make her more attractive. It fundamentally changes how a man sees her. Confidence is not about being loud or dominant. It's about being secure in who you are, embracing both your strengths and your imperfections. It's the way you stand tall, not because you need validation, but because you already know your worth. A confident woman knows that she is enough, with or without a man's approval. She doesn't chase attention, she commands respect effortlessly because her self-assurance is rooted deep within. Picture a woman who once relied on the opinions of others to feel good about herself. If he complimented her, she felt beautiful. If he ignored her, she felt invisible. Her emotions rose and fell with his every word and action. But over time, she realized that she had given too much power away. She decided to reclaim her self-worth, to build her confidence from the inside out, and to choose her own happiness every single day. This transformation is quiet but powerful. It's in the way she looks at herself in the mirror and smiles, knowing that her value does not depend on anyone else's validation. It's in the way she walks into a room with her head held high, comfortable in her own skin. It's in the way she speaks with clarity and grace, never needing to belittle anyone to feel important. This is the kind of confidence that catches a man's eye because it's authentic and rare. Confidence naturally fuels positive energy. When a woman feels good about herself, she radiates a light that others can't help but notice. She's the one who laughs easily, who finds joy in the simplest moments, and who brings warmth to even the coldest days. This positive energy is not forced, it flows naturally from her because she's not carrying the weight of needing someone else to make her feel worthy. She's found that source within herself. Men are deeply drawn to women who radiate this kind of positivity. It's not because she's always smiling or pretending to be happy, but because she chooses to focus on the good in life rather than the bad. She's the one who, even on difficult days, finds something to be grateful for. She's the woman who lifts others up instead of tearing them down. That kind of energy is contagious and irresistible. When a woman embodies both confidence and positive energy, she changes the dynamic in any relationship. Instead of waiting for a man to make her feel whole, she brings her own light to the table. She doesn't need him to complete her, but she chooses to share her joy and strength with him. This choice makes her a partner, not a project. It's a subtle but important difference that men notice and deeply respect. A woman with confidence and positive energy doesn't chase. She doesn't need to prove her worth through desperate texts or by begging for attention. She's too busy living her best life, pursuing her passions, building her dreams, and nurturing her own growth. And that's what makes her stand out. Because in a world where so many women wait for a man to make them feel valuable, she's already found that value within herself. This shift often causes a man to stop and think. He might wonder why she's so content without his constant attention. He might even feel a twinge of insecurity, realizing that she's no longer dependent on his validation to feel good. And in that moment, he sees her in a new light. He sees her as a woman who is complete, who brings value to his life because she's already found it in her own. The journey to this place isn't always easy. It takes courage to face your insecurities, to do the inner work of building your confidence, and to choose positivity even when life challenges you. But every step you take in this direction makes you stronger, more radiant, and more unforgettable. In the end, confidence and positive energy are about choosing yourself. They're about showing up every day, not because you need to impress anyone, but because you deserve to live a life that feels good from the inside out. They're about being the kind of woman who lights up the room simply by being herself. And that, more than anything, is the change that makes a man look at you and think, she's different now. She's the kind of woman I don't want to lose. So choose to stand tall. Choose to smile even when life is tough. Choose to love yourself so fiercely that no one's opinion can shake you. Because the woman who is confident and radiates positive energy is a woman who is truly unstoppable, and that is the kind of woman every man secretly wishes he could have by his side. Conclusion. In the end, the journey of transformation is not about seeking his approval or orchestrating strategies to win him back. It's about rediscovering the woman you were always meant to be, strong, confident, and full of purpose. Each of these 6 silent yet powerful changes, becoming more independent, caring for yourself naturally, gaining better control over your emotions, being busy with your own passions, maintaining healthy distance, and radiating confidence and positivity, are not just tactics to make him think twice, they are the foundation of a fulfilling life. When you choose to stand tall in your independence, you show him that you are complete with or without his presence. When you care for yourself naturally, you glow from within, reminding him that you value yourself more than his fleeting attention. By mastering your emotions, you become a safe harbor, someone who can weather the storms of life with grace. When you chase your passions, your life becomes so rich and fulfilling that he realizes he's no longer your only source of happiness. Holding your boundaries firmly and not needing his validation teaches him that you will never settle for less than you deserve. And finally, by embracing confidence and positivity, you become a beacon of light that draws people, especially him, closer to you, not because you need them, but because you inspire them. These changes are not just about him. They're about you choosing the best version of yourself every day. And when you do that, not only does he rethink his choices, but you also become the kind of woman who commands respect, admiration, and a love that's worthy of you. Thank you for watching today's video. I'm so excited to share my lessons about love and relationships with you. I hope you learned something new and can apply it to your life. If you find the video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. Thank you for always accompanying and supporting me. Have a great day and don't forget to love yourself a lot.